I'm Craig Crofty with Crash Course US Government, and today we'll be discussing political parties. Throughout history, there are many different political parties, some of which evolved from others that were currently in existence. A political party, by definition, is a group with specific beliefs of how a country should be able to be run. How these political parties are formed took place a very long time ago. Alright, let's go to the thought bubble.
A brief history of political parties began with the Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Although political parties can be traced back to the late 1600s in Greece, for our purposes we'll begin in 1796 upon George Washington's retirement, for which he urged against the creation of political parties. The Federalists and Anti-Federalists were spearheaded by none other than our buddies Tom and Alex. Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson were the figureheads of the Federalist and Anti-Federalist parties. Although there have been many re- and de-alignments of political parties, the core issues tend to hold true to that of large versus limited government. While Hamilton's Federalists advocated for a strong central government, our old pal Tommy J was too cynical to buy into that whole trusting a big government thing after that whole Revolutionary War debacle, and thus advocated for power to go to the states. As a result, they decided to create a way for those separate governments to compromise and work together, and unlike many other moments in U.S. history, briefly, everyone was down with it and pretty chill about the whole situation for, like, a second.
Thanks, Thought Bubble. Now, just to clarify, the first two major political parties are the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans. The Federalists were generally led by Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay. These three people were especially important to the goals of the Federalist Party. These goals were listed in the Federalist Papers, where they argued with many goals, with some of the major ones being a weak state government with a stronger national government, and that they expected few violations of individual liberties.
Alright.
This party was challenged by Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and Sam Adams, who fought for a stronger state government and a weaker national government, with a rule by the common man. Oh, it's time for the mystery document?
Now it's time for the mystery document.
In order to lay a due foundation for that separate and distinct exercise of the different powers of government, which to a certain extent is admitted on all hands to be essential to the preservation of liberty, it is evident that each department should have a will of its own, and consequently should be constituted that the members of each should have as little agency as possible in the appointment of the members of others. Were the principle rigorously adhered to, it would require that all appointments for the supreme, executive, legislative, and judiciary magistrates should be drawn from the same fountain of authority, the people, through channels having no communication whatever with one another.
Obviously, this is from Federalist 51. Federalist 51 describes how each branch of government, in Madison's opinion, should mostly be independent of one another, and that no single branch should have too much power over another. Even though this is talking about checks and balances, it can also be applied to the idea that separate issues should be represented by separate groups.
Thanks, Melinda. Now, before I hand you back to Craig to continue our conversation, I just wanted to provide a brief message brought to you on a selfie stick, because I forgot that I had to be in a small portion of this video, and everybody else went home, left me to edit, and so I still get to be the cameraman. Alright, back to you, Craig.
Continuing on with our history of the political parties, after the War of 1812, the Federalist Party eventually fell out of power due to being considered unpatriotic, leaving the Democratic Republicans the only political party in power. In 1824, things began to change when Andrew Jackson rose to power, splitting the party up into the Democrats and the Whigs as the two major parties. During the Civil War, the Democratic Party is split once again, forming a new party known as the Republican Party. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are the two well-known parties that many people know today. Although the parties don't have the same ideas that don't change often, their ideas often change during time periods that are known as the realignment periods. Realignment periods are a time when the shift occurred in the popular coalition supporting the political parties. Specifically, there are four major realignment periods. The first one being Andrew Jackson, the second one being the rise of the Civil War, the third being the rise of McKinley, and the last, but not least, being the rise of FDR during the Great Depression. The present major political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, have opposing ideas that cause the major disputes in government. The Democrats believe in higher taxes, are pro-choice, and also tend to be more educated and younger, while the Republicans believe in lowering taxes and pro-life, and also tend to be less educated white males. Although there are major political parties that are known as the Republican and Democratic parties, there are little parties that helped form new ideas that help the major parties miss, and these are known as the third party. Some examples of these third parties are the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and the Constitution Party. While third parties may have different ideals, it is important that they are active in society and general elections because they help bring the specific issues into the spotlight, and the major parties can bargain with them in order to not lose votes. However, these third parties in the political system have generally been unsuccessful because the systems have been stacked against these parties for many years. Now, what is the main purpose of political parties? Basically, they're around to consolidate beliefs and to be sure that everyone's opinion is heard in government. This is why it's extremely important in society today. Thanks for watching. This party was challenged by Thomas Jefferson, George Madison, and Sam
George Madison? It's James Madison! George Madison. Oh wait, this has been recorded. Egg is done! Done with all of this.
Alright,
Started. I was like, why are you staring at me?
It's gonna be a long night.
It's like 3 o'clock.
Going actually quite well
Yeah.
at this point. Okay, here we go.
Oh. Oh wait, that was recorded.